Well, that was certainly something. It was unique. I don't think we've had a boss escape their death by farting into the sky yet. But let's talk about one of Super Paper Mario's drawbacks that'll be seen in almost every boss fight in this game. The idea that Intelligent Systems is trying to build a story-heavy game using a platforming combat system. The problem is that they're fighting each other when a video game works better when the gameplay complements the storytelling and builds from each other's input. For example, O-Chunks here has already established some kind of backstory. He has his quirks and character traits, and he gives this grand pre-fight speech about how he's gonna stomp Mario flat for the count just because he can and will. It's gearing up for something hard-hitting and knuckle-to-the-floor street violence kind of thing. But then when the control is given back to the player and the fight happens, the amazing build-up falls flat on the floor from the word go. The inconsistency in O-Chunks giving this wham-bam fight to the death speech, and then in his actual fight he goes down like Glass Joe, is really jarring, and it makes the combat feel vestigial to the game itself, like it was totally unnecessary to actually fight O-Chunks. The other issue is that without a slower combat system, the fight's gimmicks don't get to shine through, and some of these boss fights end up feeling generic and interchangeable. Compare this to Tootin' Koopa from Intelligent's first game. It was a boss whose appearance was built up throughout the entire level as he tried to scare Mario away in an incredibly cheesy way. His cowardice shows in his fight because his quirk is that he's a long-range attacker, letting his chomps do the grunt work, so the gameplay ties the plot and the build-up to the fight itself in order to create a spectacular ending showcase. But in O-Chunks' case, since the story and the gameplay are now fighting each other, they lose points on both sides. What I'm ultimately saying is that O-Chunks' first appearance is still lighthearted and pretty funny, since his stupidity and his accent create an adorable stereotype character, and he could have made a great boss character overall if his quirks in battle were allowed to be shown if the fight were slower. Otherwise, you end up railroading one of the comic villains into the ground before they get to show off their talents.